Stéphanie.
Bonjour Lisa.
Bonjour.
Bonjour Joey. Enchanté. Bonjour.
Bonjour, vous parlez français anglais?
Anglais, s'il vous plaît.
Anglais. Bonjour, juste rappeler les règles de rules for the presentation. Each team has 20 minutes to present its case to the judge. I will hold up sign for the last 10, 5, 2 minutes, as well as at least for the last 30 seconds. During the last 10 seconds, I will indicate with my finger, like this, the number of seconds remaining. If you have not finished your presentation after 20 minutes, you will stop in order to proceed with the question period. The question period is about 5 minutes maximum. Is that okay to the jury at the end of the question? Please note that at any time you cannot say or reference the name of the location of your university. I will now let the Jews introduce themselves. You can start your presentation when they're finished.
Martin Lahaye, Profit Center Manager, South Shore of Montreal.
General Manager, Bâtiment, Division of Import Corporation.
Jacques Baronet, Professor of Entrepreneurship.
Do the right thing. The fundamental beliefs that has allowed you to expand from one small plumbing store to over 225 profit centers across the country. Mr. Lemieux, we are here to do the right thing for you and ensure that we reach that 60% ROI in the next 5 years. On behalf of Impact Consulting, my name is Isaac, and these are my colleagues Stephanie and Julian. And on that note, I'd like to pass on the floor to Stephanie, who will take you through a brief overview and analysis of your company.
So if we currently look at where you are today, you know that you're slowly retaining the status and building a strong reputation. You're an established company, and you've been building yourself quite well. But where do you want to be? You want to be the go-to, the first choice distributor for the profit centers for the plumbing and contracting needs, and for the retailers and the contracting within Sherbrooke. And how are you going to get there? We really want to strengthen the partnerships and incentivize the contractors to purchase via MCO, and because it's such a trusted brand. So if we look at some key objectives that we really want to talk about today, it's really the financials. We really want to achieve that ROI of 60%. And then we really want to get a strategic plan to define the next 5 years vision that you have told us. And then we really want to change and get the management issues in place so that they're better and everyone is getting things done efficiently. So what are we recommending today? We really want to create and leverage the partnerships with the sellers and the complementary products to drive the growth to address the efficiency issues of the company today. So if we look at MCO itself as a corporation, it's a very established company. It's been a company since 1906. So right now, it's the top Canadian choice for plumbing, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration, and it has some great core competencies. They have very strong values that they instill within the employees and all the profit centers within Canada. They have great customer service. That's something they really stress, and really the employees go above and beyond to give to the different profit centers and the people that they are servicing, as well as the employee training. It's a 3 to 5 year employee training. It's a very intensive program. People are have a lot of knowledge. They're well trained, and it's a great program that our competitors are not doing. And then we're doing some environmentally friendly things with our companies. So we pick products that are good for the environment, and this is really important, as well as some community service. So having some graduate programs with the universities, as well as doing things for the environment that are good. So what we see here is that MCO and ACME need to leverage their strong customer relationship to drive and sustain growth with their core competencies. So now I want to take you into ACME within Sherbrooke. I want to take you into the store as if you were part of the store itself. So here we have Monsieur Lemieux. So now he is a new manager within the store. It used to be Billy, but because of a sick leave, it's been given, the position has been given. So now he's a very experienced businessman, although he's dealing with some management issues as well as some operational issues. And then we have Jonathan Marie that we see as his under right man. So they're also facing some issues with efficiency. some of the issues that they have is customer service. They're in the store and they're not able to respond to the customer sales over the phone. Dealing with operations is a little bit difficult, so we really want to fix that today. The internal and external sales reps are very good, but it's not enough for the amount of service that we need to give back. So what we want to do today is really instill more knowledge, employ more people, and disperse the responsibility. We want the needs to be divided amongst the employees to gain that efficiency and profitability and sales within the store. If we're looking at the competition quickly here, we see that there's competition within the local area, the rural area, and then the new residential construction. So these are the competition we're facing with, and the main ones we're dealing with are Deschamais and Wellesley. So Acme right now is really in the local area, but what we really want them to be is really between the local area and the new construction. We see this as a very profitable area. We want to stay within Sherbrooke, of course, and we want to get that new construction. We want to get more bulk orders and increase those sales. So how are we going to do that? Acme needs to reposition themselves by taking advantage of the growth of the residential construction industry. If we look at our customer, we have a great customer, we have great accounts, but what we really need to focus on is that customer service. We can't let go of that. That's our competitive advantage and our competitive edge that we have over everyone else, as well as competitive pricing. It's very high competition, as well as it's a very saturated industry. So our pricing is really key here. Also the delivery time. We have the space to get inventory and to get our products out there. That's really what the clients are looking for. They want their products quickly at a better price. And then the discounts. They're asking us for discounts because of the saturated market, because of the low contracts. So what we've said here today is that the showrooms are a great way to answer to these questions and problems. It's a great way for the contractors and the buyers to come see the products, get the discount, have the relationship, and a more face-to-face communication. So employees must utilize the showroom to increase the sales and customer relationship, especially over the phone when they're talking to build a relationship, to come see the showroom. We've definitely considered some alternatives for the business, and Isaac will go into more detail about that.
Thank you, Steph. So now that we see where the company stands, let's take a look at the decisions that lie ahead. We've outlined 3 alternatives for your company today. A geographical expansion, so by getting your sales force to more than just Sherbrooke. Product focus, we can focus on products aside from plumbing as well. And lastly, leveraging your partnerships. So we can do that from both the retail side of the kitchen and bathroom sales, or the contractors, potentially even both. So let's go ahead and look at alternative number 1, with regards to the geographical expansion. So here we're talking about the sales team, looking at customers more than just the Sherbrooke area. And this can potentially leave you with higher profit center revenues, which is extremely important for you, Mr. Lemieux, and it can create new customer relationships, which is what MCO is all known about. But this is extremely time-consuming for the actual sales team. You must hire more sales reps to take on these responsibilities. We all know how knowledgeable these sales reps are, and it will take a long time to train them as well. Further, there are higher delivery costs, seeing as you will have to ship these products to further places, and this is a very, very risky venture. We do not see this as a viable option for your profit center moving forward. But let's look at the second alternative, product focus. So we see that there is a potential with regards to the fire protection equipment that you would sell. Seeing as though homes are now required to install certain products based on regulations, this can potentially be a viable opportunity, and we'll look at that. So you would have entered an untapped market, but focusing on this product itself will shift you away from your expertise, which is plumbing. We can see that most of your revenues, in fact, come from this type of product that you sell. Your low revenue potential. So once all these sprinklers will be installed, this is not necessarily a long-term strategy for your profit center to increase its revenues and sustain it throughout the long term. And lastly, like I've mentioned, you're shifting away from your high revenue drivers, which is the home plumbing that you're known for, establishing these relationships between the retailers and the contractors. So moving forward, we do not necessarily see this as a viable option for your company. And that leaves us with the last alternative, leveraging our partnerships. We all know that there are many businesses out there that, in fact, establish themselves by selling kitchens and bathrooms. These retailers already have their pre-existing contractors that they hire in order to sell it off to other customers. And there are also third-party contractors that right away look at MCO when they think plumbing. So there might be a small disadvantage to this type of option, which means that you would rely heavily on the success of the retailers and the contractors. But why is this a good alternative? Strengthening your partnerships. We all know that MCO is all about their customer care and the customer service that they provide to their clients. That is your core strength, and that is what enabled you to grow to over 225 profit centers across the country. Furthermore, you're establishing a direct relationship between the retailer sales and MCO sales, because the better the retailers do, the better the contractors do, the better the trust they have between MCO and the retailers, the better the revenues will be in your profit center. Again, this is in line with your company vision. We all know that you're there to instill these relationships with the suppliers, and we want to ensure that your contractors and the retailers have trust in MCO to continue on and sustain this long-term relationship. Again, this instills trust for long-term advantages for this profit center in Sherbrooke. So we in fact do see this as a viable option for you. Looking forward at the decision criteria. We've laid out 4 decision criteria which we'll be looking at, specifically the risk of the venture, the revenue potential, because we all know that the profit center has to ride on revenues as well as your bonuses, Mr. Lemieux, the customer trust between each retailer and contractor that we have sell our plumbing parts to and our other products, and again, the company's vision. So we've established that leveraging your partnerships will in fact be the alternative and the recommendation moving forward, and we have taken into consideration that the deal breaker for you is the revenue potential. Now, we recommend to you that you create and leverage your partnerships with the sellers of complementary products. So for these kitchens, who also will have bathrooms and also have sinks installed, and will then go to MCO. And we will drive this growth while addressing the efficiency issues in the profit center. So now that we know where we're going, let's take a look at how we're going to get there. I'll pass on the floor to Julian, who will take you through just that.
All right, thank you, Isaac. So we've outlined our implementation in 3 main parts today to really show you the full length of the 5-year term that's really going to take to implement this strategy. First of all, if we start off in the short term, this is where we're really going to lay the groundwork for everything that's going to take place. And in this part, this is where you're going to address the efficiency issues in your current profit center. So looking at your HR issues, your management issues, everything that's going on, this will all take place in the groundwork stage, short term, 0 to 6 months. Secondly, we're actually going to look at improving the execution. So this is actually looking at implementing the strategy we have suggested for you today. This is going to be through creating and leveraging these partnerships, which will take place in the 6 to 12-month period in the medium term. Finally, in the long term, this is actually where you're going to experience your growth and really retain these customers, because we know that the lifetime value of each one of your customers is so important to you. This is really going to be an emphasis on the strategy, and the growth and prosperity phase is really where this is going to take place. So if we jump right away into the groundwork short-term phase. So there are a few main key facts we want to look at here when implementing the strategy. First of all is your management HR perspective. Because of the fact that we know you're having current issues in terms of quotes not being submitted properly and different things that are affecting your business from this matter, we really want to solidify this process to really make sure everything's being done properly. So in terms of training, this is where it comes down to making sure that each one of your sales agents really knows how to quote each of their products and each of their services correctly, and really make sure they're giving the full benefit of the company. So this is going to reduce mistakes, and you also want to improve your customer and handling services, which is something that has already been started in your company at the moment. You want to take this even further to really implement a solid training process so that every single person knows exactly what to do at all times. So this is actually going to be prepared by Billy in tandem with Jonathan, who has already started this process, and it's really going to be important because of the fact that Billy has so much experience and he's so invested in the success of this company. It really needs to be him that's going to be the spearhead for this, while you are actually going to take part in this as well, to really make sure everything is done properly and on time, and as well as the fact that every single one of your employees will benefit from this training. Secondly, we're actually going to look at oversight and performance reviews to really make sure that every single one of your employees is actually achieving objectives. So objective is an extremely important way to actually manage your employees because of the fact that it's very sales-based, and you don't want to depend entirely on their own will to actually get that extra incentive through monetary gain, but actually see what are their goals and what are their objectives, and really discuss that with them to make sure you're setting a strong platform for growth. So you're going to manage your seasonal workers through this method, as well as prioritize growth and achievement in your full-time workers. You'll be meeting with them on a quarterly basis to really make sure that they are achieving these objectives, and you'll be focusing on allocating bonuses for non-commission based employees to really make sure you're incentivizing them as well on top of those who are commission based. If we move on to actually the inventory management portion of your groundwork strategy, which is something that's extremely important because of the issues you've been having of late. So really what we want to do here is implement stricter control processes, and one of the main ways we're going to be achieving this is by hiring an inventory manager. So what this inventory manager is actually going to accomplish is a few things. They want to ensure to balance the inventory periodically, and this is going to be extremely important because of the fact that you need to carry so much inventory at all points to meet customer demand. So by balancing it and by making sure that you have the exact appropriate number of products on hand at each point, you're actually going to be able to reduce the total amount of inventory you need to carry, so you're able to address each need, each customer need at each specific time through the inventory manager's role. So this will be important to actually keep constant communication with the accounting team because of the fact that they will be the one who will be tabulating all of the inventory. So it will actually be incentivized through the system based on inventory balances and a low percentage of damages and losses. Losses being extremely important because you do suspect that you do have an employee that's stealing from you at the moment. Really, the inventory manager's goal and responsibility will be to oversee the whole process and really make sure that everything's being done properly. If we move on now to our medium term, what we really want to communicate here is exclusivity. It's extremely important to develop these relationships with your customers and really make sure that you are their go-to for every single one of their needs, whether it be plumbing, whether it be HVAC, whether it be any of the products you offer. You want to be their exclusive partner in every single one of these categories and through every single step of the process. And this is what we want to communicate today to you. How are we going to communicate this exclusivity is through these partnerships. So you want to create partnerships with different retailers that do currently offer kitchen services, as Isaac mentioned, or septic tank sellers, to really see that they have complementary products to yours and really take advantage of this to create partnerships with them to actually get to the end consumer and get that contractor. Because we know that kitchen sellers, we know that septic tank installers, they have contractors that work with them to actually, on an exclusive basis, to actually install the products, and they have a need for MCO products. And these are the people that we want to target and really make sure we're actually getting in contact with these people. So we've outlined a few important facts that we're looking at today when partnering with different organizations. Is really to have a network of contractors, the fact that they have exclusivity agreements with these contractors, and that they're willing to sign exclusivity agreements with you to make sure that you are the exclusive supplier of products to them, and that they have similar fields of interest, so that they really do have a need for your products, and finally that they're non-cyclical. So you're looking at things like septic tank sellers and maintenance products that you do currently sell. You can really leverage this because of the fact that maintenance is something that needs to be done on a constant basis, and you can leverage these types of products to really make sure that you're not falling short of the cyclical residential sector and really making sure you're capitalizing on every single point of the sale. If you look at now the partnership agreements a little bit more in detail, what I want to focus on is first of all, the exclusive supplier to these contractors and really provide them with discounts. Because this is what you're going to be providing to them in exchange for the exclusivity of your suppliers. So you want to reduce strain on your current sales force by actually getting them to come to your showroom. Because the showroom is so important to your method of sales, and we really want to leverage this and show them that you are there for them and you have the time for them if they come to the showroom. What also we want to provide to them is actually cross-selling through your Acme network because of the fact that you will be developing a huge network of different retailers and shops and a whole bunch of different things. You really want to make sure that you are actually giving these new retailers the opportunity to get in contact with your current partners so you can cross-sell to them. And you will have a mural showcasing in your current showroom all of your current partners so that when they do come in, they can first of all see themselves on the mural and get that sense of like good feeling that they get when they see themselves, as well as looking at your current partners to see who else they can come in contact with. If we're looking at the prosperity, which is the long-term portion of what's going on, what we really want to focus here what we really want to focus on here is two things. First of all is growth. So it's really growing these partnerships to really make sure you're taking advantage of every single part of the Sherbrooke area. So you're looking at hiring this additional external sales agent to really make sure you're developing these partnerships properly. So you're looking for someone with previous sales experience who is first of all passionate but also trainable. Because of the fact that the AMCO way is very, very significant and it's very, very particular to your business, you really want to make sure that they can know how to quote something properly, that they know how to provide the most proper service to the end consumer. Finally, you want to hire a quote specialist. So although we do want to train every single one of your current employees in how to do a quote and how to quote a product properly, you do want to have a specialist on hand that will be trained to really be able to find this perfect quote at every single time, so you're really providing the most value to every single one of your consumers. So finally, when we're looking at the customer retention, this is really an important part because of the fact that you want to have contracts with your most volatile and those customers, and those are the most price sensitive. So you're looking at establishing long-term relationships with them, but actually setting a fixed price for a certain amount of time, whether it be for the next year, a certain amount of units, so really you get the full benefit of their loyalty for a full year. You're also looking at having biannual events, and these are going to be extremely important moving forward because of the fact that that's what's going to help you develop this relationship with them. So you're looking at having different things such as a barbecue, a cocktail in your showroom, new product launches, to really get them to come to you and really get that feeling and be able to network with everyone in your partnership network, as well as with you, so you're developing that concrete and sustainable relationship with them. If you look quickly at the financial overview of what our plan is going to accomplish today, it's going to accomplish a few things. First of all, when we're looking specifically at the compounded annual growth rate, it's specifically for the plumbing sector. In order to achieve your ROI 60% within 5 years, it's really important that you have a 15% growth rate, and this will be achievable through the partnership network because of the fact that you will be hiring external sales agents, and because of the fact that you will be able to contact these contractors and get to the end consumer more directly. Secondly, what's extremely important here as well is your actual, your inventory as well as your accounts receivable, which do account for a large part of your investment. So these will decrease by 15% and 24% because of your increased inventory management. And finally, your stale inventory, because of your increased management as well, will go down to 0 within 5 years because of the fact that you do have that inventory management that will be on hand at all times to address issues. So we've also outlined a few risks and mitigations for you here today that we'd be glad to come to in question period. So what we came here today is to address these three key issues, which we did through our strategic plan. On that note, I'd like to thank you and open the floor to questions.
I'm just curious to know if you went through a kind of financial analysis, how you will achieve the 60% return on investment on a 5 years period, aside the fact that you will probably decrease to 0 the stale inventory and grow the market share or grow the sales. Have you done any analysis beside that thing?
Sure. So for that part, we really looked at two factors. First of all is the sales, and the second part was the actual investment you do make. So looking at your account receivable, which is approximately at $650,000 currently, as well as your inventory at hand, which is at approximately $620,000 currently, if you're able to decrease these, your amount of investment during a yearly period will decrease significantly. So that, coupled with an increase in your actual sales, is what's going to allow you to achieve a 60% return on your investment. So decreasing your inventory, decreasing your accounts receivable to by the levels previously mentioned, will really is what's going to allow you to achieve this 60%.
Do you have an idea of what would be the sales level for the upcoming year, for instance?
Sure. So looking at the 15% sales growth, you currently have sales in the plumbing sector of approximately 3.3 million. So it would be approximately 3.45 million after this point. Looking at a 5-year period, you're looking at approximately 7.5 million in sales for the plumbing sector exclusively.
You talked about creating partnerships with our customers, but we do have one that's kind of problematic. QTNO. So what should we do with that customer?
They're a very big customer of ours, and we realize that there has been problems with the return and the contracts. As we want to build a better contract with them, they did say if there's a breach of contract, they haven't used our products for a year. Although that's a situation, we really want to get the customer service at hand with them. That's really what's key, because they're such a big customer of ours, we don't want to lose them. So just getting a better relationship with them is really what we want to do.
Have you detected any issue with some people working in this profit center as per integrity? I saw that you will hire a quote manager or inventory manager, but I haven't seen anything about probably letting go a few teammates. This has been part of the discussion?
We really want to increase that training as well as the customer service. A lot of the problems was inefficiency. So like Jonathan couldn't, he couldn't get the quotes and he couldn't go out and meet customers because he was doing these quotes. So if we have a specialist, that'll take off some stress off of him so he can meet external clients. So just the training is really efficient. We'll get more efficiency, and hiring these people will really solve these problems.
And in reference to the one specific employee who you do suspect is stealing from you at the moment, we really don't want to take any drastic measures without having actual proof that this person is actually stealing from you. So we want to take a few measures to actually have this. The inventory manager is one specific measure we want at this point, so they actually have an overview of everything that's going on at every single point. And the second way we can actually do this is ask the employee to take an unpaid leave to really see if there's any change in the amount of product that is like the shrinkage in your actual product levels, to actually see if there's an effect.
We also had some service issues, if you remember, with the deliveries today. We also had some very high costs. So did you have a chance to have a look at how would you restructure deliveries, if any?
Sorry, okay. So looking at delivery specifically, we didn't see any specific issues in terms of ways to improve efficiency, but we did see the fact that you do have it outsourced at the moment, whereas previously you did do it in-house, so you did provide deliveries yourself. So it's really looking at the difference in terms of the amount of money you're spending on freight to actually accomplish these deliveries is extremely important, and because of the fact that we didn't have previous numbers of the actual what you're spending on freight before, we weren't able to compare if it was actually being more or less inefficient. But once you have this, it's really to look at how you can better deliver this relationship through your delivery network.
With all the hiring that you're proposing, how many employees should we have in 2 or 3 years?
Well, we believe right from this point on, we believe hiring these 3 extra employees that Julian has proposed would be efficient, because at the end of the day, this is a very sales-oriented team, and everyone has to be very knowledgeable about the products. And one thing we want to mitigate against is being overworked or having the feeling of burnt out. So with these new hires, as well as these employee retention programs that Julian has mentioned, such as the cocktails and the barbecues, that will really make them feel like they are part of the company, and the company's success as well as their success are aligned. We really do feel that these 3 employees with hired for the next 5 years is sufficient. After the 5-year mark, we can then evaluate if we need to hire any more employees.
The question period is over.
Thank you.